welcome to the Viva-Mundo webinar. Today we are heading all the way to Dallas in the USA. No, not for the show. We are here for a wonderful webinar to figure out why you should consider SMU Lyle School of Engineering for your studies abroad. We have the wonderful Lexi here today, who will be here to discuss the reasons why and answer any of your questions. Should you have any during the webinar, you can always place them in the Q&A box just at the bottom of your screen, and we will get to those right at the very end. But feel free to ask throughout the webinar, and we will be there to take you through. All right, I'm going to hand it over to Alexis. Go for it.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Lexi Reynolds, and I'm the Associate Director of International Graduate Admissions at the Lyle School of Engineering at SMU in Dallas, Texas. So I just wanted to talk with you today about considering a graduate education within the city of Dallas, and then also, of course, at SMU. So let's get started. So at a glance, SMU is located in the University Park area of Dallas, Texas. So kind of right almost in the middle of the city. It's almost like the city kind of grew up around the university in a sense. And so we're about 10-15 minutes from downtown Dallas. They are calling Dallas and parts of Texas the new Silicon Valley. So if you're very familiar with the STEM industry and how big it has grown out in California, a lot of those companies are starting to move to Texas. And so we have a lot of companies that are wanting to get involved with our students here on campus. So within the Dallas-Fort Worth area, there are more Fortune 500 companies per capita than any other city in the US. If you're familiar with geography, Dallas is, or Texas itself is one of the biggest states in the United States. So we have a lot of room for growth. So just a little bit of history about SMU. We were founded in 1911 and then opened its doors to about 500 or so students a few years later. So relatively small starting out. And then engineering started in 1925, and it's just grown from there. So a few of our rankings, we are the 27th best college location in the country, 58th for best engineering school, and 66th for best national university. So a few rankings on there. One of the things that I always like to point out is that when you're making your decisions on your schools, yes, rankings are important. You kind of are more familiar with schools that are ranked, but you really want to find that school that best fits, you and your personality and what you're looking to do, especially at the graduate level. You start to have narrow your focus a little bit more. And so you really need to look at like the research that's being done on campus and who you want to be working with. So talked a little bit about rankings. Let's talk about our student population. So there's almost 12,000 students here on campus. So it's a moderately sized school, which we're very proud to have about 2,000 Lyle students in the School of Engineering, and about 1,000 of them are graduate students, and about 30% of those students are international. When times are a little bit quote unquote normal, we have a lot more international students. It's kind of flipped with the times that we're living in, but we definitely have a lot of international students. And we're hoping to, have more students in the near future. So let's talk about the Lyle School of Engineering itself. So we are made up of 5 academic departments. So civil and environmental engineering, computer science, electrical and computer engineering, mechanical engineering, and then operations, research, and engineering management. So within these 5 academic departments, we have over 27 plus programs. And so we're going to kind of dive into those just a little bit more. So within our civil and environmental department, we have 4 different programs. So 3 of them are master's programs, and then we have the combined PhD for civil and environmental. So for those of you who are looking at, STEM, OPT, and CPT opportunities here in the US, you want to look at the programs that are designated the Masters of Science or the MS programs. But we do have a lot of international students who decide to do the Masters of Arts in Sustainability and Development as well. So a couple areas of research that I would like to touch on for them, within the civil and environmental programs for the master's level, you have the ability to pick areas of concentration, and you can then kind of build your own degree in a sense. So they do a lot with transportation, treatment and supply of drinking water, and a lot of other things. One of the points that Dr. Barbara Minsker, their department chair, likes to talk about is that their program here on campus is a living laboratory. So they do a lot of partnerships within, the school, and then the city, and the larger community, and then the world. So that, I think, is something that is very, very interesting about their department. So computer science, which seems to be one of the most sought after areas right now in engineering. We have several different programs. So computer science, and then cybersecurity, software engineering are the main areas. They are kind of changing up the way that they do their MS in computer science. So you also are going to have areas of concentration. So like, for example, artificial intelligence is one of them. And then, so it's actually one of our smaller departments, but one of the most probably competitive here on campus. We also have the electrical and computer engineering department. So several degrees within this, this department. They are probably one of the most, they're probably the largest here on campus, and also have some of the most interesting research. So these are the people who work with drones and biomedical devices. And so very interesting research going on campus for them. So mechanical engineering, we have manufacturing management and mechanical engineering. And then for the doctoral degrees, they have a PhD, but then also a DE. So if you're not familiar, the DE is a doctorate of engineering. So for a lot of people earning a PhD, they're wanting to go into academia. And with the DE, a lot of those students head out into the field. Not saying that you can't with a PhD, but just the program is done a little bit differently. So for those of you who are interested in like thermal science and, dynamics and control and manufacturing and design, like this would be an area and a department that would be a good fit for you. So, and then we have our operations research and engineering management. So I'm not sure, for those of you who are familiar, may say that might be a different department than we normally had. They had a name change recently, so this is their new name. They were formerly engineering management and information systems. So a little bit of change, but still same department. This area in this department may be for the students who don't necessarily have the strongest STEM or engineering background. So there's a little bit more flexibility on what your background can be coming into one of these particular programs. So with some of their areas of concentration, so supply chain operations, which some people might say that it's that's part of business. We do offer that as an area of research within this department. So in machine learning theory, there's just a lot of opportunity for research here on campus. So some of our multidisciplinary programs, dual programs, joint programs, these are, I think, some of the kind of added bonuses for programs within our school. So you have, a lot of the solid technical degrees, but then you also have these programs as well. So one that I would really like to touch on is the dual degree program. So all of the MS programs that are offered in the School of Engineering can be paired with our Cox School of Business one-year MBA program. So you have the Masters of Science in, let's say, mechanical engineering, and then you can pair that with the MBA. So it's a 2-year program. So 1 year will be spent doing engineering and 1 year will be spent doing the MBA. So 2 years, 2 programs, 2 degrees. Not a bad deal for what you're trying to accomplish. So we'll talk a little bit about the application process and what that looks like. So our application deadlines for international students, so the spring semester is September 1st, and then for the fall semesters, it's May 15th. So that may sound a little bit late. We know that students are, making decisions. We are on a rolling admissions basis. So the application is open right now for fall 2022. And so we tell students, with how things, operate, and when you're trying to make decisions, applying earlier is probably the best. So let's talk about the admissions criteria. So if you were to go onto the Lyle website and look for the application page, it would, and you clicked the apply now button, it would take you to our third-party application system, which is Engineering Cast. So with Engineering Cast, you have the ability to choose schools that are all engineering schools that may have similar programs, the same programs. So when you go into this system, that you would choose SMU or Southern Methodist University. So you would complete the application, pay the application fee of $75. We do ask for all post-secondary transcripts, so anything after the high school level. We do take unofficial transcripts for the application review. Now, let's say if you were admitted, you would submit all official final transcripts. We're looking for a GPA of a 3.0 and above. And with a lot of those technical degrees, with a similar background in the degree that you're applying for. Our faculty really want students that are, interested in the programs, but also do have the technical skill set and the knowledge to move forward at the graduate level. The GRE in the 80th percentile or above in the quantitative section. Now, not all of our programs require the GRE, and even right now, students do have the ability to apply for a GRE waiver. And I can give that information in just a little bit. We also were looking for a statement of purpose. If you're not familiar, the statement of purpose is like a one-page document on why you want to be at SMU and how the program is a good fit for you and what you see yourself doing after earning this degree. We also need a resume. Now, depending on, where you are in life, basically, there is no traditional graduate student. So we have people who work full-time and do part-time classes. We have students here on campus who have just graduated from their bachelor's degree. So we know that students, like, resumes can look very, very different. And so we tell people you can either do a professional resume or an academic resume, just whatever fits you the best. We also need proof of English proficiency from international students. So Duolingo, IELTS, TOEFL. So Duolingo is a 110 minimum. The IELTS is a 6.5 band score, and the TOEFL is an 80. So then we have the letters of recommendation. So 3 are required for doctoral applicants, and then if you are applying for a master's, they are optional. So with that being said, if you feel like there are parts of your transcripts or your scores, or there's things you want to explain, the statement of purpose and letters of recommendation can be that kind of assistance in your application file, right? If you haven't talked to any faculty, those are the ways to kind of help boost that application file. So let's say that you've got all these materials in. What does this process look like? So you submit the application and you start sending in your materials. Your application will be in what's called awaiting materials until we have everything needed for the review process. Then it goes into transcript review and then goes into program review. So the program coordinator will be looking at your application. They will make a decision, and then it will go to the department chair, and the department chair will review your application, look at the program coordinator's review and their recommendations, and then put a final decision on your application. Then once the decision's made, within about 24 hours, it's released, and then students have the ability to go into their file and see what decision has been made. If you have been admitted, then you accept your offer of admission, and that will start the I-20 process. So it's a pretty simple application process and review process. And at the master's level, it can take about 2 weeks to get a decision. And then for the doctoral applicants, it can be about a month or so, depending on what department and the abilities that they have for the review process and how they're trying to shape that class. So we've learned a little bit about the academic side of the Lyle School of Engineering. So what else does Lyle offer students outside of just the classroom. So these are the ones that I like to point out to students. We have our Heart Center for Engineering Leadership. So students can, it's our like in-house career center. So not only do we have the University Career Center, but we have our own in-house career center. So they help students work on resumes and building leadership skills and to try and reach those professional goals that you're going after. And I really try to emphasize to students, especially master's level students, you're here for about 1.5 to 2 years. So you really need to hit the ground running when you're here on campus, which can kind of be intimidating, but if you reach out to them, they are already ready to help students kind of move forward with their professional goals. So, and within the Heart Center, they have something called the Graduate Leadership Certificate. So this program focuses on different areas of leadership. And so that employers are starting to take a look at some of these soft skills. And so that you have the ability to have one-on-one coaching and you complete this certificate at the end. So it's a nice kind of add-on to your degree. And then we have the industry mentor program. So students are able to work with the Heart Center and build these relationships with these people within these companies that you probably want to be at and working for. So you have the ability to make those connections and start networking there. So that's basically what I have for you today. I just wanted to show you a few quick pictures of campus and some of our students that are hard at work on their research. So we are one of the top US institutions also for campus beauty. So it's quite lovely to be here on campus, very green and lush with just beautiful buildings. And again, really close to the downtown area. So you can see the skylines from some of the places on campus. So now I'm going to open it up for questions.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Alexis. That was a great presentation. We have got quite a few questions. I'm glad that you got your contact information up there. I think we should leave that up while we answer questions.
Sure.
And let's get this started. Okay, so the first question. Hi. Are classes online or in person at the moment?
That is a great question. And so we are back fully in person. So students do have the opportunity to be in class if they would like. They do have students who are still feeling, a little bit uncomfortable. So students do have the ability to have like a waiver of sense to take the online classes, but we actually have been back in person since fall 2020, which seems a little crazy since we were kind of, at the beginning stages of the pandemic. But the university had built out this plan to rotate students in the classroom if they were comfortable going. So socially distanced with masks. But we are here back on campus and it's feeling really good to see students here.
Yeah, I bet it was such a crazy year last year. Which brings us on to our next question. Would I be able to have the vaccination for COVID on campus, or do I need to be vaccinated upon arrival?
So that's a great question. So we do have our health center is providing the vaccine for students. We're not requiring it upon arrival here for campus.
Okay, brilliant. And do you offer any funded research on this program?
So funding is done during the application review process. And so each department does their funding a little bit differently because, of course, research grants are awarded to departments. And so the best thing to do for students who are looking for funding, mostly it goes to the doctoral students first and then master's level students, is get in touch with the faculty. And I am definitely here to help with that process. So if you're looking at our programs and you're interested and you want to know who's doing what research, I can definitely get you in touch with the faculty.
Okay, thank you. Would I gain visa and accommodation advice before attending?
Yes, so we know that especially right now, things can get a little bit tricky. So I actually hold webinars about the visa process and the visa interview, as well as working with our ISSS office to help students through that process. So I will be, like, if you are looking to apply and work through the application process, I will be with you from, right now all the way through orientation. So to help assist you with this process.
Perfect, thank you. And I'm pretty sure you touched on this earlier, but I don't know if you want to go back to the slide. Can you tell us what qualifications I need to apply?
Sure. Let's see if I can go backwards. There we go.
A list, right? Yeah, there was a long list, yeah.
Yep. So this is everything. When talking about scores, so English proficiency and the GRE, we will need those officially sent to the university. Since we don't take official transcripts, this is a way that we can verify your application. But like I mentioned earlier, there are possible GRE waivers available. So you just reach out to me and I have you fill out a form. You'll complete your application and then the application will go through the review process. And the department will determine if you do need to submit scores if the program that you're applying to requires them.
Okay, brilliant. And next question, are there chances to mingle on campus as well as off campus? Can I network through your school?
Yes, so if you're looking to do that, let's say we'll kind of hit on two, like socially, there are over 150 student organizations here on campus. So during orientation, which we will be moving back to in person, we have several of those student organizations come to orientation to kind of talk to you. So having the ability to not only mingle with students who are within engineering, but SMU at large. If you're looking to kind of be a little bit more social off campus, there are a lot of ways to get involved. Dallas has so many things that you can be a part of. I feel like I'm never bored here, so which is really, really great. And then you do also, if you're looking to kind of network professionally, we do have those opportunities here as well.
Okay, awesome. And that brings on to the last question. Can I stay and work in your country after my program?
So students do have the ability to do OPT and CPT, and we have had students in the past earn or be able to, through those opportunities given by the government, they have been able to get full-time employment. So like I said, if that's something that you're looking for, partnering with the Heart Center as soon as you arrive on campus is one of the best ways to kind of help organize yourself through that process.
Okay, brilliant. Well, thank you for all the information. I think there's been quite a lot there actually for students to chew on, which is great. And also thank you guys for your questions. You had some really interesting ones. I think they will help a lot of people in their search for a school of engineering, which is great. Any last words from you for next week?
So just if you have more questions, if you want to make an appointment, reaching out to my email, I am happy to kind of discuss kind of things a little bit in more detail.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day or evening wherever you are, and we will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.